Now that many schools in the United States have switched to online Zoom classes rather than in-person attendance, some parents may be confronted with a new situation. What do I do when the police show up and ask to come inside my home? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. And today we're talking about a subject that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is not consenting to searches, especially ones of your home. And the background of this story is actually a news story that happened back in June, but recently got some traction around social media due to being tweeted out and stuff like that. Let's take a look at what happened. We have police searched Maryland home after BB guns spotted during child's online class, report says. A Baltimore County mother says police showed up unannounced and searched her home earlier this month after someone spotted BB guns hanging on the wall of her 11-year-old child's bedroom as he was taking an online class through his elementary school. Courtney Lancaster, a Navy veteran, told WBFF that her 5th grade son has learned how to use BB guns in his effort to become an Eagle Scout and keeps them on his bedroom wall. Full stop right here on the parent. We're going to get to the rest. The parent has the least problematic role in this, but they have done something that I would quickly want to point out you should not do. And that is, if you're going to be broadcasting, especially your child, into a school or into any other public setting, get rid of anything on the walls behind them. It should look like communist cement behind them. There should be nothing on the walls at all. Don't let them see into your home. Don't let them do anything. If you could put up a screen behind them or something like a green screen, or, you know, just a tarp, like one of those stupid tarps that they put behind kids when they take school photos. It doesn't matter. A bed sheet, anything. Don't let them see into your home. There's no reason for any of these people to be looking into your home. And it's really kind of unfortunate that these Zoom classes started up in the way that they did because they caught everybody off guard. So parents were not prepared for this. They were not prepared to have only what you want in the background of your kid's school, because your kid just sets up a computer somewhere, turns on his webcam, and then suddenly the whole world potentially can look in. Think about it. Zoom isn't that secure. We've seen Zoom hackings all over the place. How many classrooms have been looked into by people who weren't supposed to be there? And if any of this happens, then you have, well, even if that doesn't happen, you have strangers looking into your home. Put something behind your kid. Have them broadcast from a designated place with a blank wall behind them or whatever. Don't let them look into your home. Don't let them look into your home. All right. Let's see. Lancaster says he's been taking virtual classes ever since Seneca Elementary shut down in March because of the coronavirus, but on June 1st, law enforcement paid him a visit. Next stop, law enforcement. Don't do this. Don't show up to someone's home because of a phone call you get from the school. Don't do it. Contact the parent. Call them. Do anything. Schools, don't call the cops. Call the parents. Call the parents. Ask what's going on. Figure it out. But they don't do that, do they? So I answered the door. The police officer he was very nice. Oh, of course they were. Of course they're nice. Many cops in many situations. In fact, the majority of cops in the majority of situations are going to be professional and polite until something goes wrong. He explained to me that he was coming to address an issue with my son's school. This should immediately... No. Police don't address issues with your kid's school. The school addresses issues with the school. That's how that should work. And then explained to me that he was there to search for weapons in my home. And I consented to let him in. Don't consent. Don't consent. There's not much more to say about this situation in general as to what a parent should do when the police show up and ask to enter their home, other than say politely, no thank you, this conversation is over, and close the door. That's it. They don't need to know. First of all, there's not a problem with having BB guns on the wall. That's okay. That's a fine thing. And they don't need to know about it. They don't even need to ask questions and get answers to those questions. They're not entitled to them. That's your home. That is your place. If they think, if they can generate probable cause that a crime is being committed and that a search will result more likely than not in finding evidence of a criminal act, they can get a search warrant from a magistrate and execute the search warrant at your house. That's a high bar for police to do. And coming into your home is going to be more than someone on Zoom saw a gun sitting on a wall. They will have to articulate that there is more likely than not that they will find evidence of a specific criminal act before they can get that search warrant. So you don't owe them consent to search. You don't even owe them answers to the questions. I hear your son has guns on his wall. No, thank you. Click. That's it. You don't have to talk to them. Make them do it the proper way. We've been conditioned over years and years and years of, I don't want to call it propaganda, but just general movies and TV. And we see people talking to cops and answering questions and all the time, just going ahead and laying out the full story so it fits in that nice 30-minute to 1 hour window to solve the whole case, that they just answer everything. You don't have to do this. You don't have to talk to them. And they have no business coming into your home ever without a warrant. And they can't hold that against you. They can't use your refusal to consent to a search as evidence that you need to be searched. They can't do it. So you should always politely deny consent to a search, especially when that is the search of your home. That is your place. So real quickly, she consented to let him in, and then unfortunately stood there and watched police officers enter my 11-year-old son's bedroom. Let's take a step back and think about what this does to a kid. This is a kid who is trying to be an Eagle Scout. He has learned all sorts of things about honor, and unfortunately has probably been taught to automatically listen to and respect law enforcement. I'm guessing as a part of his scout training. To respect authority is part of it. And that's not inherently the worst thing. The problem is in how we determine respect to authority occurs. Respect for authority recognizes the authority. Respect for authority similarly demands that the authority follow its proper procedure to enact its power. Because to enact power without following the proper procedure is not authority, that's tyranny. Okay? If someone busted down the door of your house to do a search, even if they have probable cause, but they haven't gotten a warrant and they don't have an exception to the warrant requirement, they're just like, I know there's a criminal thing going on in there, I can smell it or whatever, and they bust the door down to your house and come in, they have executed not authority, but tyranny. Authority would be to properly follow the procedure to obtain a warrant or whatever necessary exception to the warrant requirement they may have before entering the home. That's how it goes. That's the proper execution of authority, and that's what respecting and honoring authority is. It's holding them to the standard that they are required to uphold. Okay. The officers found no violations and left after 20 minutes. Lancaster had added, the police told her someone had seen a weapon in her son's bedroom during a Google Meet class he was taking on his laptop. That's not justification. That's not a criminal act. I have to point that out. People are like, oh, well, might think, oh, well, if there was a weapon, they might have thought the child, it's in a home and the weapon is in the background. That's not a criminal act. And if you're the busybody who called the police, reassess your life and values. Don't get on a Google Meet class ever again. You don't belong on one. You don't belong. You don't have the wherewithal to invade in people's privacy like this and just live as a decent human being. Sending the police to someone's house is not something you need to do pretty much ever. It's not your job. All right, let's get down to this last thing. I want to get this statement. Baltimore County Schools, in a statement to WBFF, said, quote, "The safety of students and staff is our chief concern, whether we are meeting in classrooms or via continuity of learning. This child was not in danger. This child's not in danger. A gun on a wall does not put anybody in danger. A gun on a wall is just a decoration. It has to be loaded, pointed, and wielded before it becomes something other than an inert object. It needs someone to handle the gun. You are allowed to have guns in your home. The Second Amendment protects the right to have guns in your home. We found out under Heller that the Supreme Court has affirmed that is an absolute right. You have a right to have a gun in your home. The only time you might not is if you have forfeited that right through one of the various criminal charges that can remove your right to own a firearm. But other than that, you have a right to have a gun in your home. And unless someone knows that you do not have that right, they should not be calling the police on you. And if the police show up at your house, say, no, thank you. It's very simple to think about. It's very hard for people to do. But let me just encourage you one more time. When the police show up at your house and ask to search it, literally under any circumstance, say no thank you. If they have sufficient cause, they will get a warrant, and that warrant will protect them and it will protect you, believe it or not. Consenting to a search opens the door to whatever they want to do. Warrant requirements exist for a reason. Okay? The warrant will particularly lay out the scope of the search and also talk about any minimizations that need to occur. It will limit the scope of the search rather than expand it. Consent doesn't do that because consent is a workaround to the warrant requirement. Once a police officer has consent to a search, they don't even need the probable cause element that would be required otherwise. They simply have carte blanche to search because you said yes. Don't ever do that. Hold authority to its proper place. Period. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Hope you're just a little bit infuriated at what's going on with our schools, the Zoom classes, and the police. Don't let the government into your home. If you like this video, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Peace. Peace.